Well, we are in the middle of the Biden administration's war on the Second Amendment. You know that, but it's a war they're getting beaten in soundly. We have this story out of Indiana where a shopping mall shooter was stopped permanently by a good guy with a gun who reacted much faster than law enforcement could ever have. This comes as the recent Trafalgar poll says most Americans are not concerned about gun control the way the left would have you think. They're not confident, you see, that law enforcement could stop mass shootings. And most Americans also believe the best protection against a mass shooting is armed citizens. Here to discuss this is the founder of the PatriotAcademy.com, Rick Green, who is probably armed and dangerous as we speak. Rick, good to see you. Well, am I wrong? You laugh, but I'm not wrong.
You're very right. It's a wonderful, nice 6-hour C3, 45 caliber 1911, and try to carry it with me everywhere I go.
Well, there you go. Except most states, I don't know what has happened yet. I talk about this since the Supreme Court ruling. When I would leave Michigan and drive, say, out west, I would have to stop before I got to Illinois, unload the handgun, put it in the trunk, lock it, whatever. I don't know if I have to do that now or not. I haven't gotten a clarification on that. I'll have to ask before we do any of this. But you look around. The shooting in Indianapolis, tragic.
Yeah.
3 people died that didn't need to because the guy came in with a rifle and began shooting at the food court. But before he got too far, a 26-year-old man with a concealed carry permit, or what, Indiana doesn't need that anymore, I guess, a constitutional carry as of just recently, as of the 1st of July, took him out. End of story. Yep. Done. Now look, I don't want shootings at the local mall as a regular rule of thumb, but I think you will start to find, as you have more cases like this, that these would-be shooters, if they realize there could be that guy, that woman over there, who knows who's armed, it changes the whole game.
Man, we've said it for years. We want a sheepdog in every grocery store, every Walmart, every restaurant, or multiple sheepdogs in those public places, and the bad guy doesn't know who they are. That's exactly what you just described, and that's what we want more of. What happened in Indiana, obviously another tragedy. These mass murder events are horrible and evil. But as always, they are stopped faster because of the proximity of a good guy, or what I like to call a trained good guy with a gun. If you have someone that's trained, a citizen, with that firearm, they can stop it in seconds rather than minutes. It's always going to take at least minutes for the police to get there. Steve, you and I talked about this before in West Virginia, the day after the Uvalde chaos of an hour and 14 minutes of the bad guy being able to murder children. An hour and 14 minutes of that. The next day in West Virginia, in seconds, there was a sheepdog with a ponytail, which is what I call the ladies with a firearm. She took it out of her purse. She killed the bad guy that was about to kill 40 people, and he was the only one that died that day. It's always better to have trained, armed citizens everywhere, as many places as we possibly can. And that's essentially what Thomas said in the Bruen case. So that's what the Supreme Court said. We want to make sure that citizens can defend themselves.
It reminds me of a video. I think it was Texas here a couple of years ago in a church where a retired FBI agent came up just like it was just bam, bam, bam. Shooter was down. It was over because the guy had pulled a gun in church and was about to do great damage. I think you probably know which one I'm talking about. And the retired FBI agent had neutralized the individual in just that fast. And listen.
Well, and Steve, that incident is a perfect example of a good guy without a gun was killed immediately by the bad guy. A good guy with a gun, but the good guy wasn't trained, he was fumbling to get his weapon out, obviously not trained on how to present quickly. He was killed. Jack Wilson from across the room, it was a 20-yard shot from across the room, presents his handgun, and in one shot takes out the bad guy. Saved no telling how many lives that day. We want people like that everywhere.
We certainly do. Rick Green, thank you for being here. We're going to have to leave it there for today, but the fact of the matter is an armed society will learn to be a polite society.
That's right.
That's a fact. Rick, thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve.